Hey everybody, Elizabeth Nader back with you again tonight. Jersey First TV. As always, we are celebrating what's great in Jersey and talking about organizations that do so much to promote Jersey, to promote families, to promote individuals, and really make the state a better place. Tonight is no exception. I want to welcome to the show Dr. Tony Iacono, the president of County College of Morris. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
I'm so happy to have you because I'm a Morris County resident. So I get to brag on what I think is one of the most amazing jewels in Morris County, but really does such a credit to the state of New Jersey. And there's been so much going on at CCM, as we call it. I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about that. But first, we're going to brag on you a little bit. It matters who's leading an organization. Your background is incredible. I can't give it all, but I will let people know that you're pretty active in the education space. You're chairman of the board of directors for the Picatinny Innovation Center. You're on the Morris County Chamber of Commerce board. So that's excellent. We have that business influence there. Former advisor to the U.S. Department of Education, and one of the four founders of Florida's Institute for the Professional Development of Adult Educators. But the crowning jewel for all of us is that you're at CCM. Tell us about your experience since you took over in 2016.
Okay, well, thank you. And it's wonderful to be here at CCM, I have to tell you. Morris County is a really special place. I love living in New Jersey. I moved here a little over 5 years ago from Florida, and I absolutely love living in New Jersey, love Morris County. It's just a marvelous place, and I feel this is an area we can really do a lot of great work. And CCM's been serving the community for about 53 years now. And about 5 years ago, we started making some big changes. We moved from being predominantly an academic transfer school, which naturally we still do. That'll always be the center of what we do, helping individuals earn an associate degree and then transfer for a baccalaureate degree. We excel at that, great graduation rates, really able to help students who are looking for that. But we also realized just by listening to the business community for an extended period that they needed more. Industries were changing, business was changing. They had a lot of employees who needed currency or upskilling. They needed to do a lot of hiring, particularly in the manufacturing field,
Sure.
Which is just almost insatiable. No matter how many we train and put out there, they need 10 times that even. And so out of that came a conviction that we really needed to build a really good comprehensive workforce program, but we needed to build it with the workforce. We needed industry to tell us what specifically they needed, what they wanted, to work with us in creating all of that. And we needed good legislative support, good support from our county commissioners. And it's really just a marvelous story of how everything lined up so well. The legislators, the county commissioners, the business, the industry, they all shared that same vision. And the community is really, I think, thriving whenever that does happen in this case. So we hosted, as a quick example, for about 2 years in partnership with the Morris County Chamber of Commerce roundtables, where we brought different industries in, listened to them. We hosted legislative meetings, or meetings with legislators rather, at the college. We had the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program working closely with us. They just do extraordinary work. And then the New Jersey Council of County Colleges. So we talk about it takes a village. Yeah. And the end result of that was funding for our Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering Center, which was state and locally funded, county funded. And then the manufacturers said, if you can get that building out of the ground, we will help equip it. And they have been so generous. It's remarkable. And now students are going through and they're getting jobs. We run the full associate degree programs, but we have a very successful manufacturing apprenticeship program. We secured a $4 million grant from the United States Department of Labor. And every 4 weeks, another manufacturing boot camp goes, and these kids go through. We place them in jobs. They're getting 3 or 4 job offers. Wow. And they're starting out at good salaries. So, we're able to handle the higher end. We're able to handle the entry end. But the nicety is, we're really serving the community in even bigger ways, and that makes us proud.
Well, I think the partnership, Doctor, with the business community, in this case, the manufacturing community, is tremendous. And to have that direct impact from the education of the students directly into the job market is something that is questionable in some of the higher institutions right now. I think some parents are wondering, what are we paying for? How is it translating into a job? And for you guys to be able to do that in such a direct way and really fill fill the need of the market as they see it and have that communication and the partnership. Now, not only the manufacturing school, but you recently, of course, I think it was in August, the commissioners talked about this incredible new grant that you got. Tell us about that and what CCM is doing with it.
So that's just another exciting, we didn't expect that. We knew if we moved into the workforce market and added that to what we were already doing, we could better serve the community. Yeah. But then along came a lot of other opportunities. And, in our state, my neck of the woods, Senator Orojo, Senator Abuco, and others were big advocates in really designing and pushing the Saving Our Children's Future Bond Act. And again, it's a story of collaboration. We had the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program and NJCC and others, and we hosted meetings on the campus. And they talked to legislators a lot about the need. We could do more for the workforce as colleges around the state, the county colleges, but we needed support. We had nowhere to put the programs. Yeah. And so money came from there. And then again, that replayed itself. And so in listening to the Chambers of Commerce, we talked about what could we really do to help business? And what came out of it was a Center for Entrepreneurship. Also, we were hearing a lot from our college credit students. They wanted more about entrepreneurship. I mean, this is a generation inspired by people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and others. And this is the YouTube generation, and all things are possible. Yeah. So while they still want those traditional business degrees, it's the entrepreneurship. And then we have just a wonderful faculty, and they host what's kind of like Shark Tank every year. Students develop these extraordinary concepts. So it's going to give us a chance to really put a lot together and really help our students launch great careers while also supporting the existing community. We have a lot of people who go to our chamber. I want to start a business. How do I do it? Right. And so the chamber will be bringing in entrepreneurs and residents. Our faculty will be working with them. And we will be launching businesses out of this and teaching business how to scale and just do a lot of really creative things. Part of the facility also will allow us to substantially expand our culinary program. So we'll be adding a baker's kitchen, and those things coming together. You think about all the events, all the training, the expansion of culinary. Now those culinary and business students also have a lot of room for internships on the campus and in businesses throughout the community as well. So I think our students are going to leave with great resumes. They'll have degrees, they'll have industry valued credentials, but they'll have a resume of I've done this work, and make them very desirable.
It's amazing. You make my head spin. There's so much going on, and I know that you're just scratching the surface. You bring up a point that's really important, which is not just for 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. Talk about the demographics of your community, because if an adult is looking at making a career change, and maybe they went to higher education, maybe they didn't, but this direct connection to the workforce and the ability to come out really skilled. So tell us about the demographics that you see at CCM.
Our demographics have changed profoundly in recent years. We are, as was one example, seeing far more career changers and adult students. The adult students we sort of classify as individuals who are in that 25 to 35-year-old age demographic. And maybe they didn't go on after high school, but they're realizing, hey, there's things they want to do that will require more than a high school diploma. And at the same time, we're getting a lot of people who just change careers, and sometimes not even in related fields. They can be radically different. People who are in healthcare who want to be teachers, people who are teachers who want to go in business, and so forth. So that market is really opening up considerably, and it's exciting. It's great to be able to serve people who are coming in with experience. I think in a lot of ways they enrich the classroom for our younger students.
Of course.
They bring so much with them. We always say they always start off thinking, I don't know if I can do this, and they wind up being just amazing students. Yeah. And but the jobs are just huge in certain sectors. So health, career, technology, business, manufacturing, engineering, and other fields are just booming. And like I say, we can't graduate them fast enough.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I want to ask you about a few trends that people sort of talk about. And one of them is often you'll hear someone say, in 10 years, good luck finding a plumber, good luck finding an electrician. The trades are something that we got away from in this country. And now there seems to be a shift back. And, as an educator, and obviously you've dedicated your life to this, it's interesting to see the difference between someone pursuing higher education at an institution, maybe with a liberal arts degree in, as an example, women's studies or something like that, versus someone who's pursuing something in the trades. Are you seeing a shift? And are you also seeing that we will be devoid of options if we don't make that shift to the trades?
Yeah, I think, the economy is changing again. In the 1980s, there was this perception that you couldn't be successful unless you had a college degree, which caused a giant shortage in the trades, and that's still going on today, right?
Right.
But then it also flooded certain markets as well, where there's almost too many people. So the economy moves, in different cycles and so forth. And right now, yeah, there's exactly what you're saying. There's that huge shortage for skilled labor, whether they're electricians, plumbers, manufacturers, whatever it may be. And so there's a big demand, and the salaries they're just fabulous. They're incredible. As an educator, what I really think is important is you match an individual's passion to them, right? So we shouldn't be trying to push people in areas they're not interested in. It is important that we pay very close attention to the economy and are there jobs. We do not want to graduate students where there are no jobs or very, very small numbers of jobs. But to do that, you've got to really pay attention to the Department of Labor. You got to watch what the economy is doing. That does happen in higher ed. We do read about universities or what have you graduating students, and then they can't find jobs. So we do watch that. So we're not overproducing.
Right.
But yes, a lot of individuals come out and say, I don't want a 4-year degree, or I really like to do things with my hands or whatever. And we really work hard to reassure them. We can either provide that for you right here or pair you up with someone who does. At our last really big open house at the college before the pandemic hit, we invited in the heads of the different trade unions. We wanted them to talk to individuals who came out, maybe to look at CCM and think they already had a 4-year program or a 2-year program in mind, but an awful lot of them went to those tables as well. Now, we don't provide all those programs, but good partnerships with the trades make that possible. We do have some of those programs. We have electrical, we have welding and so forth. But it really is, what is a student excited about? That's what we should be pairing them toward. And also just educating them on, what are their job opportunities? What do those salaries look like and so forth?
It's an interesting mindset shift, and you're a student of history. I noticed in your bio that you're actually a student of history, and you turned that into the career that you have now in education, which is incredible. But it's interesting now for what you offer. We're also seeing the intersection of entrepreneurship with the trades, as in, yes, would you like to be an electrician? Because as you say, doctor, the jobs are out there. But if you have a love of entrepreneurism, you can be supported at CCM, follow a trade, combine the two. This is a limitless opportunity.
Yeah, I think you just hit it on the head, really. The value of education is it opens doors. It doesn't restrict us. So it does take a little imagination. I remember when I chose history, the joke in my house is I told my parents I wanted to major in anthropology, and they said, can't you pick something that pays money? So I picked history. And they knew more about history. They like that. You can do so much with an English degree, a history degree, all of those in the liberal arts. And we find, when we look at labor studies, that those students do quite well in the short run, in the long run, and so forth. It's hard right now for a lot of parents to say, well, I want my kid to major in history or English or what have you, because they think there aren't jobs. There are. It's extraordinary. And but at the same time, there are other parents, frankly, it's hard to convince them that manufacturing would be a great career for their students. And when we do tours, sometimes parents envision or people envision like an 18th century factory or something like that. And they walk in, it's all high tech, and they're looking going, what is this? And this is manufacturing today. And certainly it still involves measuring, drilling, cutting, but it's very, very technical as well. So a lot of it really is, even if you're not going to be an entrepreneur, you do have to think in that way, and you have to really think about how do you want to use your degree.
Yes, absolutely. And I think manufacturing is such an interesting place too, because it truly is the backbone of the U.S. economy. So it's something that we need to understand that we produce our own talent for, right? And keeping it here as much as we can, investing in that talent is really critical for the growth of our economy. And the direct connection you guys have to that also is tremendous. You've been winning awards and you've been cited as #1 this and #1 this and that and best in class. What do you believe contributes to that? What have you been able to do since 2016 that has really taken all of this notice from your peers?
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and it's good to have some of the external validation in those ways. And it's really a combination of things. We're really fortunate to have a very visionary, very bold board of trustees and tremendous community support, but we have a fabulous faculty here and a really dedicated staff, and they believe in what they're doing. They really enjoy supporting the students. They're very, very good about working in the community, and it does take that. I think it's a college that's very much in touch with what today's world is about, where things are going. But without it, it just doesn't work. For the students, quite frankly, the most important people, and was the case for me, and I'm sure for you, are their professors. That's who they bond to. That's who they really look up to. And that relationship is just absolutely invaluable. But the support staff also just critically important. We know that if a student makes even one meaningful connection, sustainable connection to somebody at the college, and a lot of times that can be their advisor. It might be somebody in our libraries or accessibility services or what have you. Somebody who can really give good guidance and be there for them is very, very powerful. But it's that combination. We get great support from the community, terrific support from our commissioners, our legislators, great board, tremendous foundation, great faculty. When you bring it all together, that synergy is students win. And we would bill ourselves sometimes as not just a community college, but the community's college.
Yeah,
we're here to serve. And so sometimes that means leading the community. Sometimes it means responding to the needs of the community, which we do a lot with there too. We've invested much more in social programs in the community. And we've really, really connected with areas of the community that we weren't as represented as we really needed to be. We want to make sure every student gets a great opportunity. So, we are really working very, very hard to support students from lower economic backgrounds, get them here, make sure money is not the barrier for them, to connect with diverse populations, but for communities to work well. The more people involved, the more people who are getting an education, who are prepared to live and lead in communities, the better we all live and lead in communities, basically.
It's true. And that leads me to what I wanted to ask you about regarding accessibility and affordability. So a lot of people aren't really sure what that means for a county college, and especially with all these programs. I mean, you guys are so impressive. It may make people wonder, how expensive are we talking here, and how affordable, and what do you do? How do you work with the state to ensure that there is accessibility to those who want to be a part of this community?
Sure. So at the state level, this is just a really nice success story. I had a meeting this morning with the other presidents and the Secretary of Higher Education. His commitment is all there. He's very in touch. He gets it that for many individuals, $1,000 might be as difficult to obtain as $1 billion. So we're sensitive to that. And Governor Murphy's Community College Opportunity Grant is New Jersey's free college to make sure no one gets left behind. Those are so positive. It's great to be in a state with vision and that cares. I don't know a member of our New Jersey legislature. I know our local legislators are always saying, what do students need? How can we help? I've had our board members say, and our foundation board members, I don't ever want to know a student couldn't be here. If there's ever a barrier, let us know, and so forth. So, we're in a state where people do care, and they work really, really hard toward that. And then the great thing is community colleges by their nature are affordable. That's part of our mission. County College of Morris is in the bottom third of cost among New Jersey's county colleges, which tells you in an affordable landscape, we're even more affordable. So you can get an associate degree if you're paying full freight for under $10,000. Most of our students, over 60%, are eligible to receive some form of financial aid, whether it's a scholarship from our private foundation or federal financial aid. Most likely they're going to get something. It might be an academic scholarship, music, athletic, what have you. So they're not typically even paying that. But you think about, in 2 years, you could be an RN. You could, have a really great, very, very lucrative career in manufacturing. You could be a radiographer. There's so many things that you can do. You can change a life for a fairly small amount of money. So college shouldn't be the biggest expense in your life. I talk to our students about that all the time, and I'll tell them, your goal isn't to spend as much money as you possibly can. It's to get as much education as you possibly can, and then go do good things with it. And we make that possible. And I love that. I think that's just I'm a community college graduate, and I think it's important that our students not leave with massive debt. And that's a big, big challenge. So, The other thing we do is we write a lot of grants. We have a grant that if individuals have a hard time paying for childcare, we've got grants. We can pay for that for them. We have, in more recent years, set up food pantries on campus. If there's food insecurity issues, we really take advantage of our county's social services. Our commissioners have been super helpful and supportive. We just find all the things that our students need and then try to make sure there's resources. I live in a really, really generous community, so people are good about responding. They want to know lives can be changed. They want to know that people can care for themselves. They can take care of their families. And I think we all know for a small investment, it goes a long way. Sometimes I'll say to donors, look, we're not this big, expensive university that maybe 10,000 goes nowhere there. It changes whole lives here.
So true.
Invest in our students is what we usually ask.
So true. It's such an easy way to impact people's lives. And can you say lower debt a little bit more? Because those of us with college age students are loving that you're saying that. I love the mindset shift that I've seen happen over my lifetime in terms of the way we look at community college. And but not only that, you guys obviously bring the value and then some. And I would be remiss to not ask you about the big P word, the pandemic. I know we all get sick talking about it, but you talk about such a direct impact on how you educate. Right. What did you guys do? I know you've done a lot, but generally, how did you shift? Where are you today? And where do you see yourself going in the next 6 months?
Right. Well, the pandemic has been, I think, for a lot of industries, and education is one, it's been the great accelerator. There were a lot of things that were happening, and this made it happen real fast. So when you talk about things like virtual campuses or online learning, the whole nation learned how to do that exceedingly well in a very small amount of time with a lot of hard work. I think faculty at our school and others really had to work at it, all the support staffs. We did not have a virtual campus. We were in the process of building one prior to. We have a full-blown, really great virtual campus. You can get 5 degrees and a half a dozen certificates if you want to go right into the workforce. So in that idea of necessity is the mother of invention, wow. This has really moved things. But at the same time, nationally, higher ed has been hard hit, and we're not estranged from that either. We find that there's dramatically less interest in some programs. Enrollment has really fallen off, while in others, it's just skyrocketed. So those pieces are really in motion. Our biggest priority was, number one priority is the health and well-being of our employees and our students. We wanted to make sure we had as safe of an environment as we could. We know we can't eliminate risk, but we work very hard to minimize it and maximize safety. So we did very well. We had a really solid safety plan on campus. Even during the pandemic, we still had about 1,000 students on campus and about 100 employees a day. This fall, we have about 1,500. We're doing a delayed full on-campus opening. I think we might be the only school in New Jersey doing it, but we took advantage of the fact that, we recognize our faculty are very competent with online teaching. We can do all the advising. We held nearly a dozen meetings with our different bargaining units, our faculty chairs, our student government, and decided that this would be the best option for us. And it would give us 7 weeks for those who weren't vaccinated, either get vaccinated or agree to be tested on a regular basis. Again, we're trying to keep risk as low as possible. We've not had, since this began, we've had no outbreaks on campus. We've had no transinfection, no spreading going on. We've had cases, but we've been able to manage it really, really quickly, which we think is important for our students to know and our employees to know. If you're here, the risk level is as low as it can be. We do ask certain things of employees and students. They've done a marvelous job, which is obviously wear a mask, social distance where and when possible, and just be respectful of others. We've had great support again from the community. We've had vaccinations on campus. We're getting ready to do testing on campus. We were so grateful to be able to support the county. We hosted, we were the host site for the county's 2 tests location, with 2 different testing locations going on. One was huge where people drove through. That was conducted by Morris County. And then there was another one that was indoors. When that settled down a little bit, I think in total we did 20,000 plus tests. And so to serve the community in that way was really our honor. our emergency management, sheriff's department, Atlantic Health, and others really did an exemplary job. But we were grateful just to provide the space and some additional support, some manpower, and so forth. That's what community colleges do, right? They support the community any way the community needs to be supported.
Right. Right. And you do an incredible job doing that. I mean, it's Morris County is a great county. I'm definitely biased, but I think it's one of the best. But you are definitely, as I said before, a crown jewel of Morris County. And I do think the partnership with the public sector, the business sector, everybody has been beautifully demonstrated in how you've been able to grow. So I congratulate you on what you've been able to do. I think that more and more people are taking notice of what we have here in our backyard. You really exemplify what Jersey First is all about. It's about supporting families, and what supports family more than getting educated, getting jobs, not putting people in unnecessary debt, opening their world to opportunities, and just being there at any stage of their life as it relates to career and education. There's really no better way to give people the freedom that they need to be gainfully employed and to feel as though they have opportunity. So I want to recognize you for being at the helm of this incredible place, and Jersey First, hat off to you for that, Dr. Iacono. We thank you so much for giving us that quick tour of CCM. We'll be watching you to see what else you guys accomplish and in the near future. And we hope you stay a long time to continue to drive this ship in this great direction. Thank you so much for being a part of the program.
Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate the time to share, and there's still time to register. We've got more space and time in this semester. So thank you. Thank you for helping us change lives.
You got it. Always time to register, everybody. Take a look at CCM for you, for your children. It's an incredible place. Thank you so much. And to my audience, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a good night.